Hi there, Laura from Stitch in Durango, Colorado. I am honoring Bernina's National Serger Month in this April by hugging my favorite new creative tool, the Bernina L890 Serger. Who'd have thought a serger could be so creative? You think about it as just constructing garments or totes, finishing off the edge at the same time. It's fast, it uses a lot of thread, and your edges look really neat when you're done. But with any kind of serger, this one is a combo machine. That means it's an overlocker and cover stitch machine combined, but Bernina has machines that are just overlockers that you can use decorative thread and trims and make some really cool techniques. So one of the things that I have done, and this bag I made entirely with the overlocker. I've got a rolled edge hem on this little piece of fabric. I used the differential feed to gather the fabric and then sewed it into a seam. There is also a gathering attachment that you can gather and sew onto a piece of fabric in one step. I used a flatlock stitch. This one is a very narrow one with decorative thread. See how it looks like a little ladder? That's actually the wrong side of the stitch. You open it up and get this really cool effect that then with a narrow flatlock stitch, you can weave narrow ribbon through. With a wide flatlock, and this is needle position and cutting width that we're talking about that makes wide or narrow stitches, you can weave two different ribbons through. This is that same ladder stitch with ribbon just woven through it, picking up some of the threads. Then an extra special technique, going back to this one, is that while you are hand weaving this ribbon through, you also weave another ribbon in this direction. That's like making your own trim that you can't find anyplace else. It works with your fabric perfectly. You could even do this with fabric strips. Then we've got the cover stitch element of the machine, and a cover stitch makes a stitch that looks on the top side just like a regular straight stitch on a sewing machine, and on the underside or wrong side of your fabric, it's a chain. The looper makes a chain. So I've done this with just decorative thread in the looper to really show up, and I've used it to essentially applique this fabric on here. This is the straight, this hard to see, but really faint line. I used a chain stitch, single needle chain stitch to insert the zipper on this one too. And I made chain stitch, just chained off threads to make this cute little tassel. You can do that with an overlocker machine also, because this bag has the same sort of tassel. It's probably made with a rolled hem stitch, and just pull, don't put any fabric in the machine, just pull the threads out as you're sewing, and it makes this neat little trim. Here's an example of the cover stitch on the wrong side or back side of fabric with decorative thread. This is a variegated rayon thread, and with a single needle, it looks very boring on the wrong side, but look how pretty it looks as the chain. That's the wrong side. Here is a cover stitch. It is 2 needles. You can do a 3 needle cover stitch on this Bernina machine. And this is the narrow. I've got 2 needles threaded with orange and blue thread, and this is what it looks like on the back. I mean, you can't make that stitch on a regular sewing machine. See how decorative it is? And because those are looper threads, they're really easy to sew with, so much easier than it would be on your domestic sewing machine. Here's something else that I've done. I used a 3-thread overlock, again, just an overlock with variegated thread to make this really pretty edge technique. This is a straight piece of fabric, gathered it all up, put a little button, you've got a rosette. You can make them bigger, smaller, add layers to it. This I used the piping foot that I talked about in an earlier tool school to encase really wide piping in fabric. Used decorative thread so that the stitching would show and wouldn't braided them together. I did 3 different colors, braided them together, and wouldn't that make a cool bag handle? So you can see why this is my favorite creative tool from Bernina, at least as long as it's National Serger Month. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.